That the future of manufacturing is all about technology, Internet of Things, big data, etc. SICKI Startup Committee, Ms.Sumathi.A, Chair, SICKI Technology Committee, other respected panel speakers, members and friends. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you today. We are running a bit late, so I won't take up much of your time. Just permit me to say a few words about SICKI before we start this session formally. We are more than 111 years old, and always a debate goes on as to what is the relevance of Chamber of Commerce today, with so much of social media, advent, etc. But still, it's a bridge. It was historically a bridge between the industry and the government, where there was no formal means of communication. Today that has changed. There are several means. E-governance has caught up, so questions are being raised as to when the government can directly receive comments and responses from stakeholders, what is the role of a Chamber of Commerce. But it still fulfills a very important need, conducting sessions, broadening the knowledge, exploring things deeper and giving suggestions which even the government will not want to source. All this can be done only by Chambers of Commerce, and taking up causes which the industry feels is a rightful cause is something which only a Chamber of Commerce can do. SICKI has been fortunate to have a very well run secretariat and very effective committees. We have a very broad based committee including on aerospace and defense, technology, infrastructure, food and nutrition, retail. So we have hosted a number of for setting up a FinTech Center of Excellence, the Chennai Metro Rail to set up a Readers Lounge, which we hope to set it up in the Chennai Central Metro Station shortly, and the Industries Department to set up a EV Center of Excellence. We are fortunate to have a lot of expertise from our constituents, which enables us to make all this. Industry 4.0, I'm sure you will listen to a lot of experts say, today it's now completely changed the way we were 20 years back to the way we were last decade, and pandemic changed it completely. Pandemic forced us to rethink our strategies, see how we are going to handle things. So some companies were, a recent interview from the Unilever CEO said how they were focusing on supply chain to make sure none of their supply chain broke. And it was really
Thank you, Mr. Shivshankar, for your words of welcome. I now like to request Mr. Gopi Kotishwaran, the Chair for SICKI's Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Startups Committee, and also the founder for Disruptive AI and the former CEO for Latency Analytics, to deliver the theme address.
Put together a set of speakers representing a large company, a small company, a professor from the technology space, AI space, and also an investor in the Industry 4.0 framework. That we're going to have deep discussions on this, but the opportunities are huge, and we have some exciting things that we could do which would leapfrog us into this space. And I'm super excited about it. Yesterday, the first 5G call was taken in the IIT Madras campus by the minister. And so one of the things that I usually see is that we read about all these jargons, like you pointed out, some exciting things, robotics, and how much of it is really happening in our industries. And today we have some very good examples of a company that's actually implemented a lot of these things. But we will also talk about some of the challenges. What I want to do before we get into those things is share with you some of the very, very interesting things, at least what I find very interesting that's happening in this space, right? One is advanced robotics, right? Traditionally, a robot just picks and places, right? So the infrastructure that you need to make sure that the robot can pick it up and place it is huge. So in a $48 billion global market, only $16 billion is for the robot. The rest of it is for making sure the thing is not tilted. If you want to screw a bolt, then you want to make sure the bolt is in the right place, the screw is in the right place, so this thing comes there and just does this, right? Whereas what we're seeing now is in advanced robotics, there is some intelligence, machine vision being given to the robot, right? So that's not so much more expensive than the original robot. But even if the screw is tilted, this can figure it out and fix it, right? So those are being developed by companies within India. And this could radically transform a lot of, so out of the $48 billion, $32 billion is going for all the infrastructure. So if we actually perfect these advanced robots, then you could eliminate a lot of that and have more of these robots functioning more complex tasks. That's one example that I wanted to share. And yesterday I met a company based out of Bangalore, actually introducing this with edge computing and with machine vision, small 28-year-old chap introducing it, and it's working in a manufacturing setup, right? So there are some exciting things that are happening. That's on the robotics front. Shiv Shankar mentioned IoT, industrial IoT, right? So even in a simple machine line with 4 machines, they're not synchronized because they're not talking to each other. With the IoT, it's possible for you to synchronize and increase the operational efficiency very, very easily, right? And this is, I'm talking about a single line. But if you look at multiple lines, and if you look at companies that have smart factories, which are multiple factories across the globe talking to each other, you can actually bring up operational efficiency to a great extent. And this is one of the advantages of IoT coming in. The other one is even in warehouses and material handling, right? So the sensors getting into pallets, forklifts, making sure you know what the battery levels of that particular forklift is, and nothing stops, and you're able to continuously monitor it and make it efficient. 10% or 20% of the void that's being left in the global situation right now, and we have to step up to do that. And these new technologies might actually help us step up to do that. And that's my plea to this audience today. With that, I'll end this address. Thank you.
Coffee Table book highlighting the role of copper in the modern world. We could not have asked for a better platform than the 6th edition of the SICKI CXO Conclave with the theme Technology and Manufacturing Trends, Policies and Perspectives. Becoming the perfect platform for us to launch this book to highlight how over the last 25 years from Sterlite Copper we have leveraged on technology to upgrade the process while being sensitive to our corporate ethos of ESG standards. Without further ado, I would now request Mr. Mayur Karmakar, MD, International Copper Association, who has joined us today to launch this book, to come on stage. I would also like to invite Ms.Sumathi.A, Chief Operating Officer, Sterlite Copper, to join us on the dais for the launch.
ஓப்பன் பண்ணுங்க சார்.
Open. Yeah, like that.
The first book about copper handbook was published by the world's largest mining company called as Codelco from Chile. And in short words, without copper, definitely the industry 4.0 and 5.0 cannot happen. So the essentiality of copper is everybody's life and also on a technology. Thank you very much. I won't take you a longer time. Thank you very much.
I'm very happy to release this book on Hi, I Am Copper. It gives us an opportunity to educate people on copper and its future. The entire book deals with how copper smelters are spread across the continents, how the process and technologies are working in other smelters, how the smelters are located in hot, bustling cities, right at the center of towns. It also talks about the kind of technology interventions which has happened in the copper smelting process over the period of time, and how the Sterlite copper journey has taken these technologies in its processes. It also gives a brief about the various recognitions this plant has got or received from various authorities across the globe, across the country, and how it is important. The copper smelter is important to this country and also to the people around us, particularly at Tuticorin, for the state. The impact of this plant on the livelihood of each of the people there. I think all of this is covered in this book. It is going to be a ready reckoner for people to refer to when they want to actually know more about copper and also about Sterlite copper. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Supply process, the supply chain process, the entire operations, the materials getting into the operations space, and then the maintenance, which is maybe 60% of our costs are on equipments and maintenance and so on. So it's a very intensive industry. And then going to the customer side, the marketing cycle, I think all of this has been part of our digital interventions. And if I have to take you through the cycle, maybe at the raw material stage, where I try to procure concentrates of different quality from different mines across the world. So how do I do a blending? Do I still manage with an Excel sheet?